Warning! The following video may contain spoilers for some of your favourite shows. Just remember that before you continue. Stevie, out. Never before in the history of South Park have I been remotely compelled to think about theories surrounding the stories told in every episode. But in the last few seasons, things have changed, with South Park moving from a single story per episode format to that of a show with season-long story arcs. Now, I bloody love South Park, and this aspect completely, in my opinion, rejuvenated the show, and it's made it a lot better. But without waxing lyrical about this aspect, let me get on to my topic. So, in a brief, slightly jumped up overview of the episode, we start in the school gym hall in preparation for a 4th grade girls volleyball game. But when the national anthem plays, one by one the girls sit down in protest, which is a theme that recurs through the whole episode. They are sitting in protest of an internet troll who is harassing all the girls in the school, who goes by the name of Skank Hunt 42. Of course, all the girls in the school blame Cartman for this, who enters the scene with a Tokens Life Matters t-shirt, which is absolutely brilliant. And of course he vehemently denies this, refusing to show the girls his phone that would obviously prove his innocence, hiding behind whatever laws he can, as you would expect from good old Eric Cartman. We then get to the episode's side plot of sorts. America's establishment feels that people have stopped being inspired by the national anthem due to everyone sitting down whilst it's being played in protest for whatever they want to protest, and to fix this they seek out the help of J.J. Abrams, however you pronounce his name, and his member berries, which will come into play later on in the episode, in the hope that he can reboot the national anthem and save the nation. It takes a few seconds, it's a bit cryptic, but Abrams accepts the challenge. At this point we go back to Cartman trying to prove his innocence, by proving that girls rule and women are funny. In the most arrogant, worst Cartmanish way possible. Basically, he is in the school hall, he has called all the girls into the school hall as well as all the guys, and he is making speeches about how girls can do everything, how girls can be funny, how the new Ghostbusters film rules, all sorts of stuff. And to make his point, he puts the girls on the spot by saying, look, girls can be funny, pulls one up, tell a joke, and they can't tell a joke. Goes to another girl, hey you, your girls are funny, tell a joke. They can't tell a joke. Of course, it just enforces their opinion that Cartman is a hateful troll. He is doing absolutely nothing to make himself look good in this situation. Everyone thinks Cartman is the troll. Is he the troll? We will find out soon enough. We then go to Garrison, who is continuing his campaign trail from the season before. The theme now, we are back to Giant Douche versus Turd Sandwich, with Garrison being the Giant Douche and Turd Sandwich being Hillary by the looks of it. It turns out that Giant Douche is currently in the lead in the polls, and Garrison has absolutely no plan on what to do when he wins. Of course, his election promise was that he would, well, let's say, have sex with everyone on the planet until they died, and that's a promise he cannot keep. So at the moment, Garrison is kinda panicking. He doesn't know what he is going to do when he wins. He's in a bad situation. But the episode rolls on, and we then get to dejected Randy, who is in the pub speaking to Butter's dad, Mr. Stotch, about how the Giant Douche is winning and the country is going to crap. Butter's dad then asks, Randy, have you ever tried any supplements before? Have you heard of these things called member berries? He's like, no, what's a member berry? Butter's dad shows him the member berries. Randy is then introduced to member berries. Member berries seem to resemble a bunch of the cutest talking grapes you will ever see, with the cutest little voices you will ever see. And they kind of sound like this, and they're so cool. And what they do is, they're like a bunch of grapes, but people sit and look at them, and they eat them, of course. And the grapes talk and they reminisce about the good old times, saying things like, remember Chewbacca? Remember Slimer? I love Slimer. And so on and so on and so on, loads of nostalgic, awesome So Randy being Randy, he feels it's a good idea to go and get some because he thinks this may cure his sadness about what's happening with the current presidential campaign. We then go back to Garrison. He again is still in the realization that what he promised to do as president is something he cannot do, and he has absolutely no plan on what to do anyway. And thus he begins a campaign of self-sabotage, doing his best to get everyone to vote for the giant turd, which is Hillary of course. But being Garrison, this works to absolutely no avail, and everything he does to try and get himself hated just ends up getting him more love, and more people are getting on his side. Garrison, I would just stop doing whatever you're doing because it's working too well. Which is the irony behind it all. We then go back to Cartman, who is again trying to prove his innocence in the worst way possible. No one believes him, and everything he does is just making people believe that Cartman is Skunk Hunt 42. Cartman confronts Kyle in his bathroom while he's having a crap. Cartman is just telling him, he's like, look, I am not Skunk Hunt 42. I will do everything to prove I am Skunk Hunt 42. No one believes me. Please believe me, Kyle. Kyle, of course, does not believe Cartman, and he tells Cartman he will not stop until he finds out who Skunk Hunt 42 is, till he exposes Cartman, and he shows the world again that Cartman is the evil little troll that is behind this all. Now we start getting to the end of the episode, thankfully. We go to Randy, who is having some quiet time with a big box of member berries. Randy being Randy, he is absolutely loving these new supplements, and he's sitting, just chilling out, listening to them bring up everything he remembers about the world. Hey, remember Chewbacca? Remember, I don't know, just remember, put anything nostalgic in there. Remember Ghostbusters? Remember Egon? Remember Winston? And they're just going on like that. But then they suddenly slip in some stuff like, you remember feeling safe in Oasis? And then they say another few nostalgic things. Then they say something like, remember when marriage was just between a man and a woman? And it's at this point, Randy sits up and he's like, hey, wait a minute. These member berries are subtly implanting right-wing speech into me. And then we see Randy questioning these berries, and the episode ends with Randy at that point. We get to the final scene in this very short review. We see Kyle stewing over everything that has happened. He's sitting in his room, and his dad asks if he wants to talk about it. Kyle says no, he's okay. Kyle's dad then says, okay, if you want to talk, I'll be in my office. He retires to his office, turns on the radio, pours himself a wine, and then logs on to the school forum as Skunk Hunt 42, and at that point the episode ends on the cliffhanger that Kyle's dad is Skunk Hunt 42. So now that we've got that out of the way, as far as the season opener goes, this was great. On to my theories and predictions now. On the theory side of things, I think that the South Park world is being brought to the brink of war, and just people fighting with each other with trolling, hate crime, bad police, and everything else that's bad in the world, deliberately for the reason of political gain. One thing the series has not mentioned yet, which is very, very, very surprising, is Donald Trump. We are in election season. We have Hillary, the giant turd. We have the outsider candidate that's destined to lose with Garrison, but we have not seen the man who may or may not end up running at all. That is Mr. Trump. My theory is that Donald Trump is plotting to take over the USA using every media trick he has developed under the sun, and by way of these lovely little cute member berries, which are a drug that relaxes the nostalgically deprived, and once they're in that lovely, dozy, nostalgic state, they start planting Donald Trump's right-wing messages directly into their brain. Kyle's dad and mostly an army of under-the-radar Trump supporters, much like the Easter conspiracy that happened years ago in South Park, I believe are all working on a collective goal to bring this evil business power overlord to the role of President of America and in power of the world. So that's my theory, everyone. In short, member berries are Donald Trump's thing. Donald Trump's going to win the presidential election because he's going to make everyone else fight with each other. I'll be back next week with no doubt more predictions and theories, but knowing the people at South Park, if they ever somehow see this video, they will probably change what's happening and make me a joke character. I can dream. I'm Stevie, and I'll speak to you all later.